Hey guys, happy Friday. Hope everyone's doing well. Little bit about what I've been up to. Honestly, just been working and studying, so I haven't had a chance to do the things that I'm used to doing, but that's been good, just staying busy. Um Hopefully by next week I'll have something to recommend you guys, but for this week, just too busy, couldn't do it. But until then, I can go ahead and get started on the assignment and what I was able to find. Um, I did my composer report on Alan Berg. Alan Berg was born in 1885 in Vienna, Austria. He was born to a really well-off family. They owned their own estate in Vienna, and he lived there all the way up until his early 20s. He actually became a father by the age of 17 um, to a daughter that he had with a maid that was working on the estate at that moment in time. And it was at this point in his life when he realized that he wanted to completely drop his academic endeavors and pursue music as a full-time career. And it was around 1904 when he decided to become Schoenberg's first pupil and basically his apprentice, his first apprentice. And it was Schoenberg that kind of took him under his wing and showed him the basics, the music theory basics of counterpoint and melody, and basically just kind of showed him the expressionist techniques to use to be able to compose his own pieces. And Schoenberg was actually noted saying that he himself thought that Berg was a musical genius himself, in the fact that he understood musical theory better than pretty much anybody else really ever did, and that the only thing that was holding him back from becoming a full-on musician was the fact that he couldn't compose, that he lacked the imagination and the creativity to create his own completely functional leaders. And in a way, this kind of almost disrupted the relationship that Alan Berg and Schoenberg had. Just in the fact that Schoenberg always looked down on Alan Berg, and the fact that he really never saw Alan Berg as a full-on composer and more just of a theorist. And this really drew Alan Berg to envelop himself into kind of like this almost traumatic experience of not being able to fully satisfy Schoenberg's demands. And this eventually brewed into a relationship of animosity and friction that he had. And between the years of 1904 to 1911, within those 7 years, Alan Berg completely devoted himself to Schoenberg as a student, an apprentice. And Schoenberg almost misused that loyalty and belittled Berg all the way down to basically like an errand boy towards the end of their relationship. 1911, Schoenberg moves to Berlin, and Alan Berg stays here in Vienna. And it's at this point in Alan Berg's life when he's just sick of taking Schoenberg's demands and basically doing errands and just becoming like an errand boy for Schoenberg. So he breaks off and he pretty much just shatters the relationship that he has with his mentor and becomes his own solo composer. So it's around 1912 when Berg kind of fully develops his first orchestration. And some say that this is one of his most perfect pieces, one of them. And that's going to be where I take the piece that I did my analysis on for this assignment from. And that piece is Altenburg Lieder OP4. And so a little bit about this piece. It is an expressionist piece in the fact that it's pretty technically challenging to listen to. Like, there's a lot going on and there's a lot to take in, and it's not very cohesive. It's an expressionist Schoenberg piece in the way that there's really no tonality. There's no home tone, and there's a lot of discontent. So there's a lot of ascending and descending scales that are left the listener in kind of like these weird places because there's really no satisfying full circle in the melodies, and they're more just like expressions through scaling and going up and down the scale. And that's where I feel like, a lot of Berg's kind of composing took to Schoenberg's technique, and the fact that he used a lot of that expressionist technique that he was basically like raised on. And you can hear it in this piece. This piece pretty much consists of two voices, I would say. It has a full orchestra, symphony orchestra, and a female soprano vocal singer. And so the relationship that they have with the two that they have with this song is that the vocalist is almost like a call and response, and she's basically commanding the orchestra to either go up in forte or go down in piano, with crescendos and decrescendos. And she's basically like holding the reins of the melodies. So she has her melody going while the orchestra is almost like a supporting role. So I would say this is kind of like a homophone in that way, and the fact that like the female vocalist is the shining attribute of this whole song, and she's probably the one that produces the most discomfort out of all like the voices in the song, just because she's the one who really puts like the most emotion forward in the song, while the symphony and the orchestra kind of just play in the background. And I think it's the kind of the contrast that this song has, like on in all aspects, where there's a contrast between the female vocalist and the orchestra, or the contrast between how there's pieces played in extreme forte where it's almost like a blaring like blast of music, where a couple seconds later you'll hear literally almost nothing and it's just complete silence. And so there's like a lot of that going on, a lot of duality in the song, and I feel like that's shown that Alan Berg really did take to a lot of the Schoenberg techniques. Um, I would say that this song is definitely worth listen. It's pretty challenging just to like sit through the whole thing and listen to it because there's so much going on. But that's an expression piece, because I feel like an expressionist piece is supposed to just kind of derive and evoke as much extreme emotion as possible, and I feel like this piece definitely does that. Um, I would say definitely give it a shot and listen to yourself. I'll go ahead and put a link in the description of the blog post. And other than that, I had a great time, and I honestly really didn't know what I was getting myself into until I really fully was able to sit down and listen to the piece from start to finish, and really take it in and appreciate it for what it was. And it took a couple of tries, but once I did it, I was definitely very appreciative that I devoted the time to do it, because this piece definitely has a lot to say, and I think it has a lot to say about Alan Berg and the moment in time that he was, the moment in time of his life that was, and what this piece really represents, and almost the animosity that this piece kind of alludes to, that he has for his mentor, and you can really hear that in this song. So I think it's a really cool song to kind of listen to if you know the background of Alan Berg and you kind of understand like where he was in that moment in time of his life. And I feel like it stands pretty true. So I would definitely give it a shot to listen. And other than that, I hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are safe again. And, have a great weekend. And I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.